Hello, everybody. It's David Jonke, and I'm interviewing my parents, Wendell and Lois Jonke. Just learning a little bit more about their lives together and Dad's history. And Mom is going to chime in whenever she feels so moved. Give me a smile, Mom. Thank you. Dad, thanks so much for doing this. I would like to hear a little bit about growing up without a father for most of your young years and living with only Grandma Esther. Tell me about that a little bit.
Well, my dad was put in a hospital when I was about 2 years old. And then he died when I was about six. So I didn't have a father figure really at all to work with. So it was my mother and my sister that basically brought me up, so to speak. And they did a good job, I think, of it, I hope. And
Amen.
I'm pleased with what they did anyhow.
That's right. So Tatum the other day asked a wonderful question. She wondered if you had father figures in your life. And I heard for the first time about a couple of uncles who were around you. Can you tell me a little bit more about your uncles and the impact they might have had on you?
Yeah, two of my dad's brothers lived in Hutchinson. One was a baker, and one had kind of a concession thing, what we would say now gaming stuff, but it was records and just the little pinball machines. I did things with my uncle Al Moore, the baker.
Okay.
I actually worked in the bakery for a little bit with him. That also is where my dad's uh, mother and dad were. They lived with Uncle Al, so
Oh,
I visited them. Well, and one of them passed while I was young also. So it was just the mother that was left.
okay.
And we'd go up there, and I know Grandma would say to me once, she said, you have to be able to say hello in German. And it wasn't just wie geht's, it said, wie befinden Sie sich heute, which means, how are you feeling today? And that was about the end of my conversation with my grandma at that point.
Oh, so she was primarily a German speaker.
Yes.
When did
No English. She couldn't speak English.
Really? So do
No.
you have any idea when she came to America?
No.
Okay.
Not sure.
Wow. I didn't even know that. I'm going to learn a lot about my own dad today. This is great. What do you remember doing with Auntie Ellen growing up?
Oh, having the usual fights and so on, but she she was good for me because she was a figure for me to look up to and do a better job in school. And both my mother and sister enjoyed sports, so I was glad that they were willing to support me in that way too when I went into athletics. And but mostly she was an opportunity for me to be a better person following her.
Mm. So I was wondering how in the world you became such a good athlete when you didn't have a father in your life, but it was part of it was because Ellen and Grandma were so into sports.
Pretty much, and they let me do things on my own. In those days, David, we just did our thing. I always say to myself, I wonder how I got pretty good at running. Well, every night during the week, practically, I'd run up to not run up, but I'd go up to the public square, and we'd have games there, capture the flag, whatever it might be. And I was running all the time. And
Mm.
so that got me started in sports. And Grandma loved basketball. She didn't like football. She was always worried that I was going to get hurt. She'd come to the football games. We had a riverfront kind of football field in those days, and she'd park in the rear, sitting in the car watching the football game. But she'd come to my basketball games because she loved basketball.
Wow, with all the head injuries that we're learning about in football nowadays,
Yeah,
she had a good intuition about that.
I guess
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Luckily, I didn't have anything more than a broken clavicle. That was the biggest injury I had as a football player.
Are there any particular games that you have special memories of, either in high school or college?
Oh, college, and I've told people this is strange because what I remember most is the ones that I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve. We had a game with St. Cloud where Jerry Bodelson, our neighbor and good friend, threw me a pass about 5 yards in the end zone, and as I was going through the line to get in, turned around to catch the ball, I got hit in the line, and this is probably my excuse. I kind of was dazed, and the ball came, and I dropped it. And we lost the game like 20-19 or something, and that touchdown would have won it. And I remember going up to Moorhead, and we had a close game up there, and this was as probably about a junior in college. I broke away for a wide open touchdown run, and it got caught from behind, and we lost the game there. So
My goodness.
it's strange that those things you remember more than sometimes the games that you won. I do remember in high school as a junior, we played Canby, and they went on to win the state tournament. We got beaten in the regionals, and I was a junior, and it was a close game, and I got into it playing quite a bit and was the leading scorer for that game, and that's what I remember.
Well, you obviously had plenty of successes too as a four-sport athlete, and I think both high school and college. Did you play four sports in college too?
Only 3 in college.
Only 3 in college.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the only reason I was a four-sport athlete in high school in Hutchinson was in wind sprints in football, all the way up through my senior year, I could beat everybody. So the track coach came out and said, "Hey, we need a sprinter for track this season. Can you do it?" Well, they allowed me to play baseball and run track. And interesting story, as a senior, I won the district. In those days it was called 220, it would be 200 meters now, in the district. But the regional tournament, the regional meet was at the same date as a district baseball tournament, and so I had to decide, and I went to the baseball tournament. The guy that I beat in the district won the regional and went to the state.
So you could have been a state champion.
Not state champion, I
Oh,
would have been in the state.
been able to go to state. Yeah, wow. I'm going to pause the video because I'm afraid we're running out of memory, and then we'll come back to this in just a second.